Hello there and welcome to this episode of Inside Southeastern Baseball with head coach Matt Reiser, presented by Buddy's Bar and Grill and also your local Southern Quality Ford dealers. And as you can see, we're not at Buddy's Bar and Grill due to some scheduling conflicts. We're here in the Lion locker room as we're now joined by the head baseball coach of your Southeastern Lions, Coach Matt Reiser. Coach, thanks for being here. I know we're not at Buddy's tonight, but we're gonna make the show work here at the locker room.
No doubt about it. You know, the only thing I'll miss tonight is the good old meal we have.
That's
over
right,
there.
exactly. Scott always takes care of us over at Buddy's, so we want to make sure, even though we're not there this week, to give those guys some love because they're so good to us. Coach, let's talk about the week that was. This was a week where you played a midweek game against. You played two midweek games against Tulane and also Jackson State, and then you also went and took on three different teams in the UT Arlington Invitational. So 4 road games out of 5 games this week.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a rough week for us from a production standpoint, but, you know, again, we had a tough one on Wednesday night against Tulane. We dropped. I think we kind of carried it over into Friday, and you know, wasn't the week we wanted to have, but there were some positives out of the weekend. Some guys stepped up that haven't been there yet. Some guys are starting to solidify some starting roles.
Coach, let's talk a little bit about that first game on Tuesday night against Jackson State. Jackson State's a club that is traditionally a very good team out of the SWAC and usually a regional team. You go up there, you really put on a nice display, bang out a lot of hits and put up a lot of runs.
Yeah, it was nice to see, especially after opening weekend. You know, we struggled a little bit offensively. We kind of exploded out there on Tuesday and really came up with some big knocks. You got some guys in there late in the game trying to get some experience from a pitching standpoint. We didn't throw strikes there late in the ball game, but again, our offense did such a good job of responding every time they scored that even though it was a long game, it was the right outcome we wanted.
Coach, and this is one of those times of the year that early in the year, in February, you're dealing with some weather issues. It's not really the best weather to be playing baseball in. You had some cold ones this week. Talk about how you think your team responded to that.
Yeah, you know, I thought we did all right. The elements never really played a factor on us from a defense standpoint or from a pitcher standpoint. I thought the guys did a good job of going out there and taking care of business for the most part. You know, I thought the mistakes we made weren't weather related. It was more of just inexperience related, so to speak. So the Lions start out the year after knocking off Jackson State 4-0. Let's go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we're going to take a look at the highlights as the Lions were at home against in-state rival Tulane, right here on Inside Southeastern Baseball with head coach Matt Reiser, presented by your local Southern Quality Ford dealers and Buddy's Bar and Grill. Stay with us. Your eyesight is so important, and when it comes to your eye care, let the friendly staff at the Bond Roten Eye Clinic care for you. Doctors Hunter Bond and Chris Roten, along with their staff of trained doctors, are committed to providing every patient with quality care. The Bond Roten Eye Clinic has the latest medical technology and eye care to help you, the patient. With over 14 years of experience, the Bond Roten Eye Clinic has 3 locations to serve you with offices in Denham Springs, Hammond, and Amite. So if it's a checkup, glasses, or LASIK surgery, you need to visit the Bond Roten Eye Clinic. For more information on the clinic, please visit bondroteneyeclinic.com.
Lions Baseball is supported by Louisiana's First Choice Auto Auction, located in SLU's hometown, Hammond, Louisiana. Louisiana's First Choice Auto Auction is a dealer-only auction.
For more information on Louisiana First Choice Auto Auction or their upcoming charity golf tournament, please visit www.lafcaa.com or visit Louisiana First Choice Auto Auction on Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to Inside Southeastern Baseball with head coach Matt Reiser, presented by your local Southern Quality Ford dealers and also Buddy's Bar and Grill, as the Lions on Wednesday night would come back home to Alumni Field and take on Tulane. And Coach, everyone knows you're a former Tulane grad. Daniel Latham was a former Tulane grad as well. They have a new coaching staff over there, and this has traditionally been a very good rivalry between these two schools.
It really has. It's an RPI booster for both programs. A great midweek competition, you know, only 45 minutes away, and obviously an in-state rivalry. A bunch of these kids played together or played against each other growing up, so always good to have them in town, and it is a little bit different not having Coach Jones in another dugout, but again, always play the alma mater is always fun. No
doubt about it. Let's go ahead and check out the highlights as the Lions took on Tulane in a game that would come down to the last inning. Coach, here you go on Tuesday night against the Tulane Green Wave. It was a chilly night, but still a beautiful night, clear for baseball.
Yeah, Dominic Carlini with his first start of the year, and you know, I'll tell you what he was as advertised. He came out, you know, sunk the ball away and had 3 pitches for strikes. You know, he really made very, very few mistakes. You see one here is their guy did a good job of going the other way with 2 strikes, and was probably his only mistake of the night, to be honest with you.
He would come back, though, and bounce back with a strikeout. He was absolutely dominant in this one, as you're going to continue to see through the highlights. just a dominating performance by Carlini as he started this one. Offense tried to get something going, but their guy was good. It started this one.
Yeah, he really did a good job of keeping the ball down the zone. He's up to 93, 94 miles an hour. And but again, Dom did a good job pretty much all night long of keeping their guys at bay and keep us in the ball game to allow us to get our offense going. You see him there with another punch out, extend the plate again. And again, the offense trying to get back going. We tried to put some pressure on them here. But their guy, again, just kept pounding the bottom of the zone. We kept hitting the daggum ground, and unfortunately, some balls that we did hit hard were right at them.
Matt, I was sitting behind home plate watching this one unfold and really just couldn't remember very many balls that Tulane put in play off of Carlini as he just continued to strike them out. It seemed like everybody up there was striking out. That's one of the few balls I was putting in. You can see it's soft contact.
Yeah, again, that was what we recruited him to do, was come in and kind of be a weekend guy for us. Sedetall had the experience and did it. Got the nod open weekend, but if he continues to pitch like this, you should see a lot out of him.
Nice play that time by the catcher. Looked like it might be going into the dirt, but he makes a play there, and there's a great read this time getting to second base.
Yeah, had a chance to get something really going here. We got second and third and 2 outs with Hoffman up, and kind of misread the straight steal there at home. Again, we're being aggressive and bang play there at the plate. Sometimes it happens, and unfortunately that time it didn't go in our favor.
Another soft contact. Carlini gets him to pop up there to Kreitz at second base. And you can see, Coach, this was a absolute pitcher's duel, 1-0 through 5 innings.
Yeah, we had some hits and had some guys on base. Couldn't capitalize there early in the ball game. But, again, Dom did a fantastic job of just keeping us in the ball game. And now you see Grenier come out, and this is another big part when we bring him in is to make sure we eliminate the big inning, and we did. We gave ourselves a chance for later in the ball game to come back and make the comeback like we did in the 7th, because he did a good job just eliminating the sac fly out there. Another 2-out knock there by Yandel. Unfortunately, they get the second run there, but things could have got a lot worse. He does a good job of settling in and getting the strikeout and keeping the Green Wave at bay.
So Tulane goes up 3-0, but that would set the stage for you to be able to come back in this one as Nico Cuccia actually starts it off with a single.
Yeah, again, the offense, I felt like we swung it pretty decent all night. Their guy was good, but finally got to the bullpen there late. The big knock here by Sedetall splits the gap there, scoring a guy from first base. To tie the ball game up, and Sedetall does a good job going all the way to third. Big, huge 2-out knock for us there that allowed us to get the go-ahead run here and set the stage there for Midyet.
Yeah, and then Daniel Midyet, who's been good here to start the year, comes up and knocks it through the left side, and just like that, you rally for 4 runs and take the lead in this one late in the ball game.
Yeah, really proud of the guys that kind of just stayed with the plan the whole time and did a good job of staying under control, and we get bounced back in there. Again, here's another situation here in the 8th. They get the leadoff guy on, try to bunt him over to get him in, and Cashman, we're experimenting here on the back end of the bullpen without Klotz, but does a fantastic job of getting a strikeout and keeping it 4-3 to go into the 9th.
And Coach, this was probably the ball game if you really look at it after the fact. You had bases loaded, nobody out in the 8th, and couldn't put a run in, and gave them an opportunity going into the 9th.
Runs are too precious to give away, and we really felt like we gave a couple away there. And kind of like you said, when we got a chance to get extended, we didn't. They lead off there with a hit. We thought we might have got tagged there on a double play. Maybe we should have gone for the lead guy, but Cashman does a good job staying under control, and we get the second out there. We get all the way down to 2 strikes, 2 outs. And unfortunately, their guy was a little bit resilient there at the plate, bounces one just through the infield to tie the ball game up, and then they get the next knock down the line. Again, just got the right bounces in the right place.
This one is. It literally maybe a foot inside as they take the lead 5-4. Really a heartbreaking, way for them to take the lead and a heartbreaking loss.
Yeah, just unfortunately for us, but you got to bounce back.
Coach, this was really an emotional roller coaster against Tulane. You're down 3-0. You take a 4-3 lead. You get them down to literally their last strike, their final strike of the ball game. Their young man gets a nice single to tie the ball game up, and then they double on a one that actually hits the foul line. Really a good college baseball game. You hate to lose it, but it was a very good college baseball game all the way through.
It was, besides the weather, I think everybody enjoyed that game. We had some time in there. I thought our guys did a good job again of just staying under control, staying relaxed. We got the big inning to come back and take the lead. Had a big hit there by Kyle Settertall. And to lose it, sometimes you win them, sometimes you lose it. At the end of the day, they were just a little bit more resilient. We got down to our last strike for the win. They turned the tables pretty fast on us. Kevin Carr smokes one there in the last inning. Right. Looks like it's going to tie it up, and the shortstop makes a great play. First baseman makes a great play. Just all around a great game for college baseball.
So the Lions taste defeat for the first time in 2015, but they would be back in action as they were on the road at UT Arlington for a tournament against 3 different teams. Right here on Inside Southeastern Baseball with head coach Matt Riser, presented by your local Southern Quality Ford dealers and Buddy's Bar and Grill. Stay with us.
Welcome to Buddy's Bar and Grill, located at 1236 South Morrison Boulevard in Hammond. Buddy's is home to great steaks, fresh seafood, and friendly service. Buddy's has been voted the best steakhouse and best restaurant in Tangipahoa Parish. With over 2,500 square feet and 3 large dining rooms, Buddy's can accommodate any party. Buddy's goal has always been to wow customers with their food and prices. Owner Scott Henderson and his family have always believed in giving customers good deals for their hard-earned money. Stop by Buddy's Bar and Grill for dinner and a drink. For more information on Buddy's, please visit buddyshammond.com.
Welcome back to Inside Southeastern Baseball with head coach Matt Riser, presented by your local Southern Quality Ford dealers and Buddy's Bar and Grill. As we're coming to you from the locker room, due to some scheduling conflicts, we couldn't be at Buddy's tonight, but we still want to thank those guys for being our home. We'll be there each and every Monday night here in 2015. Coach, your team would then be back in action as you would go on the road and take on 3 different teams in the UT Arlington tournament. First of all, the first road trip of the year. But before we get to baseball, it was a unique situation. They were able to have an alumni gathering in Arlington.
Yeah, Miss Julie Parise came up, our assistant coordinator for alumni affairs, and she did a great job of putting a nice little get-together for alumni in the area. Actually found out we have over 600 alumni in the Metroplex area, so it was a nice little turnout for us. It was a nice little gathering to go kind of meet and greet some people and hopefully build maybe some recruiting connections up that way. Well,
Coach, let's talk a little bit about the first game of the tournament as you would take on the home team, UT Arlington. This is a former Southland Conference opponent. I believe the last time the Lions and UT Arlington met was in the 2013 Southland Conference Tournament Championship. This was a game that they got on top early and just didn't go your way on the first game on Friday.
Yeah, I think we might have had a little hangover there from the Tulane game, such an emotional game going back and forth on Wednesday night. We came out early with the right energy, but once they jumped on us, I felt like maybe kind of we went here we go again type of deal. And some days it's going to happen. And again, it couldn't get anything going offensively from the pitcher standpoint. We couldn't do anything right, and they just did everything right. And some days it's going to go like that.
No doubt, as then the Lions would look to rebound on Saturday as they took on Houston Baptist. Let's check out those highlights. Here's Saturday against Houston Baptist as Jake Johnson on the mound, and he was impressive for the second consecutive start for your club.
Yeah, we went with a little different lineup after Friday night, try to shake some things up and get a more offensive group in there. And the good thing is Jake Johnson was as advertised again. Went out, gave 1 run in the first inning, but Zach Clark from Springfield, Louisiana, getting his first start, got us going with the leadoff HBP there, and allowed us to get the guys in scoring position. And even though Carson Kreitz made the error there in the first, it was a good job coming up offensively with a big 2-out knock to get the first run in there and tied up 1-1.
Coach, after a night where you struggled offensively against Arlington, how nice was it to come out and put some runs on the board early?
It was huge for us. We faced an in-conference opponent with a weekender on the mound, and to respond the way we did, we got the 2-out knock there to score 1. We get another 2-out knock here by Ryan Byers, scored another 2, and kind of get that constipation we had over from Friday, that hangover, to get it out a little bit. Again, you saw defensively, again, it was a different lineup. Carson Kreitz there at shortstop instead of the normal Brooks Morris. Brooks is our normal shortstop, more defensive there, but do a good job eliminating the big inning, getting you out. And that was kind of the story to tell. We had ourselves some situations that could have got ugly, but again, we just played really good defense from the standpoint of holding them at bay. And you see Nico Kuchar there, the freshman catcher, with a big throw out to keep the guy in score position.
Another lazy fly ball to center field as, I'll tell you, Jake Johnson has been very impressive in these first 2 starts.
Yeah, if we can get Teixeira going like we know he knows how to, that's going to be a nice 1-2 punch to have there at the top of the rotation, especially once we get to conference play.
I think a lot of our Lion fans will get used to seeing that guy as well. Julian Service, nice swing on that ball, and he's had a nice start to his season.
Yeah, it was nice to have him back. He was out Wednesday and Friday with injury. You know, he would have really helped with the Tulane game, and it was nice to have him back in the lineup because he is. He's a superior athlete and does a good job there on the ball, jumping in, falling in, of advancing to second base, and again, trying to just put pressure on their defense. Nico Cucci hits a line drive there that he can only block up. Unfortunately, rolled to error, but again, just trying to put that pressure on defense. There's your name again, Julian Service. This was a good job of our offense from a base runner standpoint. We had 2 outs there, very aggressive on the ball and dirt. He sees the throw go through. Nico does a good job of reading it, going to second base, and we get the extra run there and put the pressure again on the defense. I think we end up making them make 5 errors on the day, and a lot of it was due to the way we run the bases very, very aggressively.
And I want to say this as well, as this is a Houston Baptist club that had been playing pretty well, knocked off Michigan State on Friday.
Yeah, they actually went 2-1 in the tournament, won the tournament because they knocked off UTA and Michigan State, 2 teams we actually lost to. So, again, it was good to get back on the winning ways after Wednesday and Friday, to get back out there and kind of get our bats rolling and see that conference opponent and kind of make some dominance on it.
There's Carson Kreitz with a nice shot to the outfield with a runner in scoring position. And offense looked really good in this one because I know Houston Baptist threw some pretty good arms at you.
Yeah, again, they had a weekend there in the top reliever coming out of the bullpen, and it was good to see Carson still swinging that hot bat. He was out for opening weekend due to the academic suspension, so we got him back in the lineup on Tuesday against Jackson State, and he's been swinging a hot bat ever since.
There's a little swing and bunt kind of, and Ryan Byers actually beats that one out and gets an RBI out of it.
You know, on Friday we couldn't do anything right, and as opposed to Saturday we couldn't do anything wrong. You know, from an offensive standpoint, when it's going hot, and we did a good job, again, putting pressure on the defense the entire time. You still steal a bag, and we ended up stealing 4 or 5 bags in the contest. Just a lot more impressed with the way we ran the bases compared to the 2 previous games. And
then Nico Cucci, freshman catcher, gets into one there. He puts it up in that jet stream and blows it out of the ballpark for a 3-run homer, and this one really sealed it.
Yeah, you know, we're up 7-1 at this point. The one swing at bat, you know, ends up making it 10-1, and really kind of putting it away there in the 7th inning. That was what I was really proud of the guys that showed that resilience again, that killer instinct that helped kind of extend the lead there and give some pressure off the bullpen.
So I know that's a good moment for that young man. His first collegiate home run, that had to be a thrill. Hit out of a big ballpark as well over at Arlington, but got it up in that win and really gave it a ride as Lions go up 10-1. And then you turn it over to the bullpen, Coach.
Yeah, you know, came out of the bullpen a little timid. Had to make a mound visit, but Kay Grande does a good job of saving the rest of the bullpen for the weekend as he goes his 2 innings, finishes off for a 10-4 win.
Lions win this one against Houston Baptist. Coach, your team responds and gets a big victory over Houston Baptist, actually a Southland Conference opponent, but this game does not count towards the Southland Conference matchup. But it was nice to see your bats wake up. You put up 10 runs on the board. Really a nice offensive explosion against those guys.
Yeah, it really was. Jake Johnson was, again, phenomenal for us in his outing on the mound, and the offense woke up. We scored 3 there in the first inning. We put a big 6 spot up in the 7th inning to kind of blow it open, and just proud of the guys responding. You know, it took a little extra day to do it, but, you know, after 2 tough losses like we did, I thought it was good to get back on the winning track.
No doubt about it. Lions put up 10 runs against Houston Baptist, and then, Coach, you turn right around on Sunday and play and just – let's just call it like it was, an absolute miserable day. Low 40s, high 30s, a lot of wind against Michigan State, the Spartans out of the Big Ten. And this was a game where you had 10 hits, hit the ball well, just couldn't get a timely hit. And they made some very nice plays in some timely situations.
Yeah, early in the ball game, we had a tight ball game going back and forth, and with the rain, it might have been shortened, so we had to try to play every inning kind of like it was the last. And maybe had some opportunities in the middle innings that we could have done some things different offensively to kind of get some run production there. But with the situation we were in, we just had to keep going for the big inning to kind of jump back in a little bit. And unfortunately, I thought we hit the ball well, but you got to give Michigan State credit. They made a lot of plays in some crucial situations, and probably took 5 or 6 runs off the board, and then extended it on us there late in the bullpen.
Coach, I got to ask you this: after really only 2 weeks of baseball, that's one thing about college baseball. You get a lot of games in a short period of time. You already played 8 ball games. You're 5-3. Where's your club at right now?
I think mentally, I think we're in a good spot. We've got some injuries that we're still dealing with, and some guys are getting a chance to get some experience here early. If you look at Saturday's lineup, I think we had 3 starting freshmen in the lineup. We brought another 2 freshmen out of the bullpen. There were a couple more freshmen on Sunday. So a lot of guys getting a lot of experience, a lot of playing time. Some guys have stepped up. Some guys are still trying to step up for us. But I like where we're at from a playing standpoint. I think the guys are giving the best energy they've got and really giving all that they need to from a mentality standpoint.
Well, there you have it. Let's go ahead and take a break. When we come back, Coach Reiser and myself will break down a 5-game homestand right here in Hammond, right here on Inside Southeastern Baseball with head coach Matt Reiser, presented by your local Southern Quality Ford dealers and Buddy's Bar and Grill. Stay with us. Your eyesight is so important, and when it comes to your eye care, let the friendly staff at the Bond Roten Eye Clinic care for you. Doctors Hunter Bond and Chris Roten, along with their staff of trained doctors, are committed to providing every patient with quality care. The Bond Roten Eye Clinic has the latest medical technology and eye care to help you, the patient. With over 14 years of experience, the Bond Roten Eye Clinic has 3 locations to serve you, with offices in Denham Springs, Hammond, and Amite. So if it's a checkup, glasses, or LASIK surgery, you need to visit the Bond Roten Eye Clinic. For more information on the clinic, please visit bondroteneyeclinic.com.
Lions Baseball is supported by Louisiana's First Choice Auto Auction, located in SLU's hometown, Hammond, Louisiana. Louisiana's First Choice Auto Auction is a dealer-only auction.
For more information on Louisiana First Choice Auto Auction or their upcoming charity golf tournament, please visit www.lafcaa.com or visit Louisiana First Choice Auto Auction on Facebook and Twitter. Welcome to Buddy's Bar and Grill, located at 1236 South Morrison Boulevard in Hammond. Buddy's is home to great steaks, fresh seafood, and friendly service. Buddy's has been voted the best steakhouse and best restaurant in Tangipahoa Parish. With over 2,500 square feet and 3 large dining rooms, Buddy's can accommodate any party. Buddy's goal has always been to wow customers with their food and prices. Owner Scott Henderson and his family have always believed in giving customers good deals for their hard-earned money. Stop by Buddy's Bar and Grill for dinner and a drink. For more information on Buddy's, please visit buddyshammond.com.
Welcome back to Inside Southeastern Baseball with head coach Matt Reiser, presented by your local Southern Quality Ford dealers and Buddy's Bar and Grill. It's now time to take a look at our tip of the week here with Gage Pickett.
Hi, welcome to this week's tip of the week. This week's tip of the week will be demonstrated by freshman right-handed pitcher Gage Pickett from Parkview Baptist. This week's tip of the week will be our changeup. He'll show you his grip here. He does a good job of keeping it nice and loose in the fingers. Get all 3 fingers out and around it. In order to make his adjustment, when he gets in a stretch, he'll come set, change up grip. Go ahead. Whenever he really feels like he needs to get out there, needs to make an adjustment with it, he'll really get extended and do a good job of permeating the baseball here to get his location down and away. That's this week's tip of the week.
Well, Matt, there we see an example of throwing the changeup, and this is a pitch that's very important to your pitching staff.
It is. It's actually, we believe, undercoached a little bit at the high school level. So many guys get away with the velocity or the breaking ball, and sometimes throwing that changeup kind of runs in the bat speed of high schoolers. So Gage Pickett has done a good job. He's kind of more of a finesse pitcher, right-hander for us. He picks around the zone a little bit, and he's got one of the plus changeups on the staff.
All right, let's talk about, Matt, a busy week for your club now coming up. You got 5 games. You have a weekend series against Northwestern out of the Big Ten, and then you're going to be at home against Alcorn State and Southern on Tuesday and Wednesday night. And, Matt, it's hard to believe, but 5 games, that's your longest homestand of the year.
Yeah, originally the schedule was done 2 years ago. We had the first 4 weekends done at home, and thought we were going to be home a lot more than what we are, but that's unfortunately the nature of the beast. When you start talking about scheduling, I think any coach will tell you that's the one thing they probably want to give away. But we got Northwestern home this weekend, another Big Ten club coming in. They gave Michigan State fits last weekend in a little non-conference tournament game as well. And really a pitching and defense type of team, scrappy team. Every report we've gotten talks about them. It kind of seems like you almost talk about the little lines a little bit from their standpoint. So they're going to come in obviously hungry and interested to come in and see if they can't take away 2 out of 3 from us.
I think it's so unique when you look around the landscape of college baseball, especially early in February and then early in March. Some of these teams that are from up north, they want to come down here and play in the south because of the warmer weather. Now, it hasn't been that warm here the last couple of weeks, but still, it's warmer here than it is in Chicago.
Yeah, so I was going to say, at least we don't have snow on the ground for us here and have a chance to play some good baseball. And it'll be a nice challenge for us. I think they're going to come in, obviously, like I said, ready, that they're finally not in the snow and getting a chance to play outdoors. I think they'll be excited and it'll be a good opponent for us to kind of get back on track.
For those of you that are watching and wondering why we're in the locker room and not at Buddy's, there was a scheduling conflict this week, so we're able to do our show here in the locker room. But one good thing about being here is you get to show off a lot of your hardware, as you have some runner-up trophies. You have the Southland Conference Tournament Championship trophy, and that was my next point I was going to bring up, is this program has evolved to championships are expected, getting into regionals, making noise. That's what's expected. This program is playing Big Ten clubs like this, trying to get the RPI up. Is that all part of the equation?
Yeah, again, scheduling's tough. The more success you have, especially at being a mid-major name program, it gets tougher and tougher each and every year. And that's it. We want to try to play the best possible non-conference schedule we can to help RPI and get us ready for conference. I mean, at the end of the day, the Southland Conference is a tough conference. We've put at least 2 teams in the tournament the last 3 years, and we got to make sure we're prepared and ready, and we got to do that to make sure we're playing quality opponents.
Then we're going to turn around and take on Alcorn State and Southern in the midweek on Tuesday and Wednesday night. So 5 home games in basically a 6-day period. So a lot of baseball going to be played right there at the Pat. Hopefully the weather stays put. But these are teams that we play just about every year, Alcorn State and Southern. Southern, a great rivalry right over there in Baton Rouge, but usually teams that can come in here and swing the bat. Coach Cador does a great job at Southern, another regional team just about every year.
Yeah, it'll be a good challenge for our pitchers. We're short a couple guys, and again, some guys are getting some roles solidified, and some guys are having to step up and trying to get that experience a little bit. So it'll be a good challenge for our guys to kind of bounce back from the weekend to the double midweek, and then also kind of gets ready for conference again. And again, that's at the end of the day. I don't think at the end nobody's be able to say they didn't get a chance. So we'll have some guys that'll go out and need to prove some things from that standpoint. And again, you're talking about a quality program. It's nice to have Southern back on the schedule after a 2-year hiatus of it, and be able to chance to get back and play those guys again.
I'll ask you this, Matt, before we go here. I think just through the beginning of this season now, we've seen several lineups. We've seen a lot of different guys in the lineup. We've seen a lot of guys that played a ton last year, not in the lineup every day this year, a lot more competition. Is that something that you're going to do as the year goes on, or is it something you're going to try to settle into as conference play comes around?
We feel like this is probably one of the most deeper clubs we've had, and there's a lot of guys with a lot of different roles and some very skilled guys, from a physical standpoint and from an athletic standpoint. It feels like it's one of our deepest teams, and they got to continue to do a good job of balancing out those positions. No position safe. It's about going out and earn it. Just because what you did last year doesn't mean you're going to be in the lineup this year. And those guys understand that. Those guys like competing and they like the competition. And again, it's a friendly competition because they're teammates, but at the same time, those guys are pushing each other to make each other better.
I don't think there's any doubt about it. So if you ever want to be a part of Inside Southeastern Baseball, you can come out every Monday night at Buddy's Bar and Grill at 7 o'clock as we tape our show. And we also want to thank your local Southern Quality Ford dealers, a longtime sponsor of Inside Southeastern Baseball. So for Coach Matt Roser, I'm Alan Waddell. We'll see you next week.